I'm certainly happy, as are every Bat fan, that Batman Arkham Asylum shaped up the way it did. It definitely blew us away with its gameplay, its great cinematics, character bios, character trophy, riddles, gadgets, free flow combat, platforming, and free sandbox-like environment featuring Arkham Island. The gadgets were a lot of fun to play with, and a great way to make us go back to previously beaten areas and unlock new areas in them. The line launcher was my favorite gadget to play with. Gadgets were great to use against enemies, as well as in the invisible predator mode, using bat claws to pull enemies off ledges and a sonic batarang to call enemies away from your location was great. Also, the way enemies reacted differently every time you played made the experiences that much more rich. Scarecrow is now my favorite villain because of this game's Scarecrow sections. Scarecrow messes with your head and causes some real cool areas, which I won't spoil for you in case you haven't gotten up to it. But let's just say they were some of my favorite parts in a video game ever. Scarecrow's design is also very creepy and awesome in this game, and I hope the comics start to use this design. The last boss may not surprise people following the storyline, but it was pretty cool. It wasn't as bad as some people might say it is. The ending though, well, let's just say that there's not much to the ending, but after you beat the game, you can try to solve all the riddles, which do have a purpose story-wise, but it also gives you the character trophies, inmate interview tapes, and character bios. Some of the riddles really got our heads hurting, but they are all possible to solve, and it helps if you find the Riddler maps that show you the general area the answer lies in.
Now what was missing was a mention of Robin, Nightwing, and Batgirl, not Oracle. Obviously, Batman is in no way working alone in this game, as the developers claim, because he has Oracle as a contact and also sometimes gets help from the security guards in the prison. So it's ridiculous that there's hardly no mention of his two sons, Robin and Nightwing, or his daughter, Cassandra Cain and Batgirl. No character bios, no character trophies, no riddles about them, nothing. I don't have to say again how these characters make Batman who he is, and how they're just as important as Commissioner, Oracle, or even the Joker in the life of Batman. I hope they will become downloadable content, at the very least. Or I'll be sorely disappointed that the Ultimate Batman game experience has no mention of some of the most important characters in the Batman mythos, and especially with Robin being the reason why Batman made enough sales during the early years to still exist today. And now that Arkham Asylum is out, what's in store for the future? How would a sequel be? We already know that this game is the first step to making more free-roaming Batman games, so why not throw Gotham City in? Not exactly how you're thinking though. Remember that Gotham City is made of some islands, so there's sections of the cities that you can free roam in, just as sections of Arkham Island where you can free roam. North, South, East, and West Gotham City can all be sections that you can free roam in. Buildings that you need to go in story-wise would be buildings in those sections of the city, so that you can free roam in and around the buildings. For example, Wayne Tower, Gotham City Police Department headquarters, an apartment building, and other buildings that you're required to go in story-wise would make up South Gotham, while other buildings you're required to go in story-wise would make up North, West, and East Gotham. That way, every building in the game is explorable and re-explorable, as you gain more gadgets and more objectives throughout the story.
Now, who else thought that Arkham Asylum would be amazing to play with a friend? Co-op Invisible Predator combat? Amazing, right? Co-op free flow could be a major step in building on the already great combat system of Arkham Asylum the game. Both players would be able to free flow combat, but also use co-op moves like when, for instance, both players counter the same enemy. Another example would be when one player attacks another player, co-op moves would be activated. The free flow would look even more stylized and amazing when two players are fighting against 25 enemies at once. The players? Well, Batman is a given, as well as Robin, but how about Nightwing and Batgirl also? The first and second player would choose who they want to be, but don't worry, this is still a Batman game. Cutscenes would include the Bat family together, so the developers would not have to create 6 different combinations of cutscenes. Or you could ignore the characters the players are playing as and instead have the Bat family appear in whatever cutscenes the story needs them to be in to acknowledge that Batman's family is indeed helping out Batman. In-game cutscenes would have the first player talk while the second player listens. For example, if Batman and Robin are first and second players respectively, and Oracle contacts them, then Batman would talk to Oracle while Robin listens in to the conversation. But if the game is one-player mode and the first player is Robin, then Robin would talk to Oracle alone using lines similar to Batman but with Robin's personality. How would the other characters play any differently? Well, for one, they each have something that they are better than Batman at. Nightwing would be able to jump higher and further than the rest of the Bat family, so he could reach some areas more easily than them. Robin is a better detective than Batman. Batman mentions this many times in the comics. So Robin would give the player extra hints about Riddler's riddles, and he would give hints towards things that you'd otherwise need detective mode for. For example,
It seems like there's a ventilation shaft up there. Maybe I could get around the security gate with that.
Cassandra Cain Batgirl is a better martial artist than Batman, as stated before in the comics. So she would be able to knock out enemies much quicker than anyone else, so she could get right back into fighting, as well as dodge usually undodgeable attacks, such as the knife-wielding enemies.
As you can see, there are just some shortcuts each character has that Batman does not. Batman can still reach areas Nightwing can, but with more work. And Batman gets hints about ventilation shaft, but from the vent being highlighted in detective mode. And Batman can still knock out downed enemies, but not as quickly as Batgirl. These shortcuts make playing as characters a different experience, and it highlights their strengths. In two-player mode, the combination of shortcuts can make the game a different experience, with each combination of characters gives more replayability. Nightwing would be able to take out his Eskrima sticks, while Robin would be able to take out his retractable bow staff during combat by selecting their weapons under the gadget menu. This also adds to making the characters have a different experience. Vehicles would also be in the game, and include the Batmobile to cross town, Batjets to cross islands, and Batboats to cross islands and intercept boats that may be owned by a villain. Also, the Batcycle, Robin Cycle, and Nightwing Cycle would be alternates to the Batmobile. The gameplay could allow vehicles to help reach areas previously unavailable. The vehicles would be unlocked by playing through the story, just as gadgets were in Arkham Asylum. And you could also jump across rooftops and have invisible predator sections between buildings, with the added bonus of using vehicles. That could also be remote controlled to distract enemies and knock them down.
The Batcave would also play a bigger role than in Batman Arkham Asylum. The Batcave would have to be visited to analyze some clues you may have found, as well as to change the gadgets in your gadget quick select menu. For example, you may have the Sonic Batarang gadget, but you'd rather replace it with an electric Taser Batarang, so you would have to go to the Batcave and switch them. So now the Taser Batarang is in your quick select menu. When you want the Sonic Batarang back, then you must revisit the Batcave and switch it with one of your other 8 quick select gadgets. Although gadgets that you absolutely need story-wise would not be replaceable, such as the Batclaw, Explosive Gel, and Line Launcher. This way, there could be more than 8 gadgets in the game, and you can really feel like you're getting equipped to go out and fight crime. Challenge rooms would still be there, but now you can unlock more alternate costumes for them, such as Nightwing's first costume, and Nightwing as Batman, like in the current comics, for Nightwing, original Batgirl, Barbara Gordon, and spoiler skins for Batgirl, Robin's original red and green costume, and Red Robin, like in the current comics, costumes for Robin, Batman Begins, Batman Beyond, and Batman 1989 costumes for Batman, and etc. Also, character bios and trophies should make a return, and cutscenes should be reviewable after you unlock them in the game. Also, after you beat the game, there should be an option to go back and redo missions, so there can still be replayability after you unlock everything. Sefton Hill, game director of Batman Arkham Asylum, has said that Arkham Asylum takes place in a pre-Robin period. I'm not sure if that means that Tim Drake Robin hasn't been introduced yet, or that Dick Grayson Robin hasn't been introduced yet. If Dick Grayson hasn't been introduced, then why is the Joker there? Dick Grayson Robin was introduced before Joker, Arkham, Oracle, Alfred, and every other villain in that game. So a pre-Robin period would mean Batman fighting normal criminals. So is Batman Arkham Asylum really Batman Prison Tale? Because Gotham wasn't even named until after Dick Grayson Robin. Not to mention Clayface's biography says that Batman and Robin stopped him. So, his game contradicts himself.
Unless he means pre-Tim Drake Robin, which is possible. But Tim was introduced as Robin at the end of 1989. The beginning of 1989 saw Barbara's return as Oracle, so that meant if there's a sequel, Robin and Nightwing should definitely be in the game. But if Bane was making reference to breaking Batman's back, as in the Batman Nightfall graphic novel, then Tim Drake is already Robin. And Robin is not a camp figure. as covered by us in our Bat Family Importance video. So the game could be just as dark as Batman Arkham Asylum, but even cooler with multiplayer, vehicles, and free roam, Gotham City. Batman Arkham Asylum has been getting 9.5 out of 10s all over the gaming community. So this game we're proposing, since it's building and adding to Arkham Asylum, it'll be getting 12s and 13s out of 10 all around the gaming community. Arkham Asylum is about Batman in the world of his villains, and this game would be about the villains in Batman's world. And Batman's world includes his strong and dark-willed heirs to the Batman legacy, his soldiers, his family.